Call. Two men. One named Rich. That's me.
This is Jermaine. Just got off the toilet.
He's a foul man. This is the X's and O's of life.
Huh? Every time. It's funny. Every time to me.
Yeah, it's a silly thing.
But we talked about we got to record a different one of these days.
Yeah, we gotta come up with ideas. Okay. It's cold outside.
Quick. It was like in the 70s all last week in there, and just boom. I think right after that Steeler game, the the weather gods was just as pissed as I was. So they was like, you know what? We're gonna freeze them out this week.
And we literally talked about that yesterday. It's like, how do you feel about cooler weather? It's like, it's not too bad. And it's like 34 degrees.
Today was really brisky, yeah. It was like, okay,
all day.
It's like we talked about, like in the spring and fall. Today was teetering on winter almost.
Yeah. Did you have any?
They said something about something possible. Well, I ain't gonna say snow showers, but possible flurries or something. So it was cold enough.
Well, there was a little bit of snow on the porch this morning. So,
so they did drop. So something did drop. Okay. So I was at work all day. I didn't really, I don't really see the outside until as I'm going in and as I'm coming out. By
the time you left out, it was gone.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's kind of just get into it here. So, you brought a topic to the table a while back, and then I don't really know what happened to it, but
no, we forgot all about it, or we skipped. Well, Halloween. I mean, we just kind of dove into the whole spirit of the monsters and stuff. I mean, we're gonna still continue here, just to put the exclamation point on it. But how I came about the topic, I was downtown.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how'd you come up with this? Because it's definitely a bit of a random.
I was down at Station Square, and I'm waiting on the bus. And there's a guy that just comes out of nowhere. It's a blind guy. And like he has a stick and he's like tapping, like obviously he wanted to catch the bus. But it's like he didn't know where the bus stop was. And it's like, man, I just in my head, I was like, man, that's gotta be fucked up. Like, I mean, like he shouldn't have been walking around unescorted or accompanied with somebody. I mean, I could see maybe through a neighborhood, but we're talking like Station Square downtown. This is a busy area. Like for him to be able to navigate and get across streets without getting hit, and like it's just a ridiculous challenge to me. Like,
weird question. I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of gauge this, but do you think he was maybe new to being blind, or like was he older? Was he younger?
He was an older guy. It seemed like he was
matter.
It seemed like he was probably mid-50s. So I mean, I ain't the most I ain't gonna say the most helpful person in the world, but when I see somebody, if I'm driving on the road and I see somebody pulled over and their car's broke down, I'm that dude that keeps going. I'm sorry, hey, sucks to be you.
In that situation, yeah, I'm not stopping. I'm sorry.
I'm not Mr. Super Helpful, but this dude, I was seriously, I mean, because he was across the street looking for the bus stop. Like he was tapping, and you could definitely tell he didn't know exactly where the bus stop was. And my bus was about to come in like 2 minutes, and the next one wasn't coming for 40 minutes. I was seriously considering catching that 40-minute bus just to go run across the street and help that dude. I was just like, that is a fucked up situation to be in, or condition to be in, and you're in a busy downtown. Like, I just don't feel like he should have been walking around unaccompanied. But who knows his situation? He probably doesn't really know anybody that can, accompany him. So it was just like, after seeing that, I was just thinking to myself, like, man, that's got to be terrible to not be able to see and have to try to get around. And I don't know, something just popped in my head. It was like, bing, that's a good topic for something to talk about, is like the senses, like which ones. So basically the subject is, of the five senses, which one, well, let's rank them. Like, which one can you least not go without, and which one can you, I ain't gonna say you don't mind.
I think the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The easiest way to put it is probably from, if you lost it today, what would be the most important down to the least important.
Yeah.
Just because I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to really phrase it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a bit of a weird sentence to put together, so I get it.
Like,
so before we get into that, let me.
You don't care about it. I care about all my senses, but if I was pressed up against the wall, I would be like, well, you could take that first, and then you could take that, But the very last thing. Wow. But
let me ask you this: are you a believer that, and let's take the blind guy for example, are you a believer that when you lose a sense, your other senses become
enhanced? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Huh. Yes, I do.
Okay. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go 5, 5, 4, 4, or do you just want to go down your list, or how do you want to do it?
Well, yeah, I want to go from 5 down to 1.
Okay.
1 being the one that I just can't live without. Yeah.
All right. So run down your list then.
Okay. 5, I'm gonna say taste, because I've already experienced it. COVID, how they say you lose it. And you said when you had COVID, you didn't experience that symptom, but I did. Yeah. I definitely did for about 2 or 3 weeks with no smell, no taste. So those two are, I hate to give away 4, but those two are right next to each other. But because they're intertwined and linked, like, you need to smell something to even taste it. So I think.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's certain foods that if you can't smell, you can't really taste it. Like, how many times have you been stuffed up with a cold or something?
And have you fucking talked to me the last week and a half?
I mean, like, when I drink my beer or when I do anything and I'm real sick,
yeah,
it don't taste the same. Like, it could be a steak that is fucking from roof crisp, buttery as fuck. And if I'm sick, I can't enjoy it because because my nose is stuffed up. So they're intertwined, but I'm going to go 5 and 4 is taste and smell. Because, like I said, taste I went through before. Smell I haven't, a lot of times haven't went through, but it's like with colds and stuff like that. And then taste, you lose your taste buds whenever you burn your tongue or whatever for, I don't know how long. Or
when you eat a fucking pizza roll or some shit, yeah.
Yeah, you be like, mouth hot as shit.
That's the worst. Like when you, like, all right, real quick, little deviation here. What's worse, burning your tongue or biting your tongue?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say biting because you start bleeding. Yep. Yeah.
God damn, how first of all, how hard are you biting stuff?
Huh?
How hard are you biting stuff? Jesus Christ.
Man, there's times I bit my tongue by mistake, like I'm chewing gum or something, and then I somehow it misses the teeth, and then it bites down on the tongue, and you're chewing hard. Yeah, I'll be bleeding, and then that lasts a lot longer. Like a burnt tongue, it might last maybe an hour.
Yeah,
I don't know how long that's gonna last. Man, you got a bit tongue. Man, that can go anywhere from a couple days to a week.
well, you know why though, right? And this is the worst. This is the worst part about biting your tongue. It becomes mildly swollen, and any chance you get, you bite that bitch again, and it is infuriating. It's like getting a cut, having that cut scabbed over, and then right when it's about to be good, you cut that thing open again.
And the scab comes off. Yep.
Okay. All right. My bad. All right. Go ahead. Number 3.
Oh, you want me to go to a mall and then you go?
That's what I was saying. Like, did you want to go 5? You do 5. I do 5. You do 4.
No, I'll go to a mall. I'll go to a mall. Okay.
Yeah, you might as well now at this point.
Between touch and hearing, I mean, not be able to feel something when you touch it, or not have any type of feeling. I mean, just that little bit of time that I go to the dentist and they numb you up with the Novocaine. I can't stand that little period. Like, where you be and you be feeling like you could stab yourself in the chin and you wouldn't feel a thing.
Yep. And the white boy in me is like, that's time for experiments.
He said, I'm going to try some things. And as soon as that Novocaine wear off, you're going to be like, oh, shit.
Like, where'd my cheek go?
So, touch and hearing. Fuck.
What the fuck's the other? The fuck's the other sense? Hold on.
What did we start the story off with?
Let me write this shit down. Hold on here. All right. Smell. Taste. Hear. Touch.
Touch. What did this story start with? Are you serious? The most important one? He's like, you done forgot it already.
Sure did.
The blind man seeing, being
sight.
able to. That's.
Apparently, I didn't see that one coming.
Pun intended.
Okay.
I'm gonna say taste. I'm gonna say touch is 5, 4, 3. 2 is hearing, and last is you can't take my eyes.
Oh, hold on. You're not gonna like break down why?
I mean, the difference. I don't want I want to be able to hear. Like what the like?
Huh? Well, actually.
Huh? I mean, that is the 2 most vital senses to me is hearing and seeing. Like, if you can't see, man, God. My thing is, people used to always ask that as far as the seeing thing. Would you rather be born blind and never seen it, or go blind and you've seen it? I want to.
Born. I want to be born blind. I don't want to be.
Are you?
I don't want to have the whole.
No.
So here's the thing. So you can't miss it if you don't know it. If you never experienced it.
But I'd rather have experienced it so I can at least create a visual picture in my head and imagine that's what it looks like, because I've seen it before. Like, if I've never seen it, you can't explain a beautiful sunset to a blind person. They've never saw it. I mean, like, you can't even really say, oh, well, yeah, she's a beautiful woman. You've never seen a woman. So, no. I'd rather have seen it, and then I lose my sight, and that way I can just imagine that's what they look.
All right, so you started off with sight. Now, I think how you're doing it is the most important
Yeah.
Like if you lost it, it would be the worst. So yours would be okay.
Sight first.
Sight
And
first.
then if like put it this way, put it going for if somebody put me to the wall or put a gun to my head or said, hey, I'm taking something from you, I'm gonna say, take my taste first. Okay, and then after that, they're gonna be like, well, I need to take something else. I'm like, okay, go ahead and take my smell. And then they're gonna be like, okay, we gotta take something else. I'm gonna be like, go ahead and take my touch. And then the last thing I'm gonna be like, now we gotta take something. I'm gonna be like, go ahead and take my hearing. Okay. And the very last thing you can take from me is my sight.
Okay. All right, because I wrote it down and I wrote what I'm doing and then I wrote what you're doing and I'm like, wait, we're doing it. You're going a different way than I'm going, so let me just get that solidified so it makes sense. Okay. Well, do you have any other insights on your other two picks?
I mean, I'd rather be able to see and hear, and if I had to deal with the other conditions, to me those two are the most important. Like touch, I'd rather not lose touch either, but if I had to, I had to. Do I got any other stories or anything? No, I just know that being blind is cruel, and it's like, imagine Helen Keller. I think we already talked about that maybe on one of the first couple episodes where it's like she was blind and deaf. Like it's like,
how did we do a Helen Keller drop? God damn.
I don't know what we were talking about. I want to say in the first maybe 5 episodes we've ever done, we were talking. Somehow we mentioned the whole.
Somehow I'm not surprised. I'm just like, how'd we get there?
Yeah, I can't remember. But I mean, those are just critical. I mean, I can't. Anyone that's dealing with those conditions, hearing. I mean, it's like, okay, sometimes not being able to hear is a good thing. Depending on who you don't want to hear or what you don't want to hear. But the sight thing, man, I mean, like I said, the story just began with that whole blind man, man. And it's like that blind man can get around downtown that man can get around downtown seeing. He might not have to hear everybody. He might not have to be able to touch anything. He might not be able to smell. But if you ask that blind man, let's suppose somebody deal with the devil. The devil walk up to that man and say, "I'm gonna give you your eyes back, but you got to give me one of your other senses." I'm pretty sure he would trade any of them in for his eyes.
Maybe. And but here's the thing though, right? Here's devil's pun intended, devil's advocate. So let's say this man's been blind for 20 years. And let's go off the idea that his other senses are now quote unquote superpowered.
Super enhanced. Yep.
So since he can't see, one of his favorite things to do is listen to music because it soothes him. He feels it. He physically feels it. And his option is, okay, we can give you your eyes back, but now you can't hear. So over the last 20 years, he has had an obsession, or he's romanticized music to this degree where it's on this amazing pedestal. I don't know.
I Stockholm syndrome where you done got used to a fucked up situation so much that you become used to it. That you value it. Like, I mean, like
he might say, "Yo, is it that crazy of an idea though?"
Huh?
It's not that crazy of an idea though. Like that's. I mean, I've never been blind, so I don't know like the thought process, but just thinking about it from, obviously if you're just, straight up like fuck sight, or fuck hearing, I'll give me my sight back. that just a general idea of that. But if there's like another like layer to it, I'm wondering if that would make any difference. I don't know.
I mean, that's a good point, but I don't know. I think that
But I think gun
that
to your
man
head, you're
that's been
taking the
blind
fucking
for
sight
20
back.
years, he has learned to adapt and adjust. That if you put somebody in a sewer, or if you, like I said, the Stockholm syndrome, like even slavery to a certain point, where you had certain slaves that had got so used to the ways of the slave master that given their chance to go to freedom, they wouldn't take it because they had become so dependent on how it just was. It's like I've even seen that in the movie. I mean, there was a comedy, Eddie Murphy's Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. I don't know if you saw it. You don't watch movies, but
You know, eat
there
your
was,
cornbread.
huh?
You know,
Yeah,
eat your
yeah.
cornbread.
But there was the one guy that was dating Bernie Mac or whatever. They was a couple, whatever. He had got his pardon papers, but he had got so used to living that prison lifestyle, he didn't even want to go out into the free world. And he ran out into the field and got shot by the guards on purpose because he got so used to that life in prison, which is ridiculous. But hey, man.
It wouldn't be our podcast if it doesn't take a dark turn. It's good.
I'm just.
No, it's a good point though. Okay. All right.
What's wrong?
All right. So to run this back here. So, worst thing for you, we're gonna go from worst to least important. Go sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. Okay. So we're gonna kind of go the same route. Or the same kind of general way. I'm going with sight. I feel like it's the most important sense. It's the sense that keeps you safe. It's a sense that lets you navigate, lets you, I guess, kind of just it lets your sounds stupid. It lets your brain work.
Without having to imagine a picture in your head, like you don't have to fabricate. You know how they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Like, if somebody tells me this painting's a masterpiece and I can't see it, all I can do is touch it and maybe listen to it or something. Like, what? Yeah. You missed the whole shit. Like, I mean, it's like,
well, because once again, like you can read words on a page.
I mean, you can do the Braille thing, but it's like,
well, I mean, fine, but I'm saying we're gonna go with the idea that you've never had sight. So I'm gonna look at this thing I'm looking at right now. It is a red little flyer for Youngstown State University for the kid. It is a red and white envelope with his name, and there's little decals on it, and these people, these college kids wearing hats, red hats and red shirts. So all that fine, great, wonderful, dandy. Now, if you've never seen any of those things and all you've ever been able to do is read or hear what those words are, what are you actually being able to? What is your brain showing?
Yeah, because that was. I mean, I took in high school. I had a creative writing class, or it was like a kind of, I ain't gonna say an advanced English type of thing, but
like an AP class.
I was in some advanced courses in high school, and one of the assignments was explain the color red to a blind person that never saw it. Right. And the only way to do that is to have them picture hot, like touch hot, like touch this hot stove. That's sort of what red is, but you can explain all the way.
Right.
That means you want, and you still. how do you know if that person is really capturing?
What's a stove?
Huh?
What's a stove?
Yeah. I mean, sun. Like, I mean, you just say sun, heat. Like, those are the only words that can really capture red. But does that really capture red? I mean, like, I'd rather have seen red before and then went blind, like Ray Charles, than to just be born blind. And my imagination is not that creative in all the world. I can't just create what it looks like in my head. Like if I say, okay, let's take this blind man to that never seen stuff, let's take him to, one of those beautiful islands. I don't know. Like, oh man, the water is pretty. Everything is blue and it's so clean and clear.
What are you gonna tell him?
Does he really know what you're talking about? I mean,
no, not at all. All right, so I mean, we're pretty much across the board on site. The quote unquote argument pretty much the same across the board for both of us. So, next on my list for what would be the worst to lose would be taste.
You like fat fuck. That's what you is. Yep. Speaking of that, I think on Instagram or something, I think Tiffany put something there when you was holding your boy. I was like, damn, he was fat as fuck. He was a chunky little pudgy little fat fuck. I was like, damn, look at his ass.
I had to grow into myself. It's fine.
Oh, he was chunky as hell. I was like, dang, he must have been eating Snickers every day.
I mean, that was literally half of my life ago, which is wild to say. I'm going taste. And for all of those reasons, I like food. I like the taste of food.
So you would, if you could see your food and you couldn't hear, as long as you can taste how good that shit was, you would. Wow.
I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to eat for sustenance, and if you had your taste taken away, it would literally be like having COVID all the time. You would have it would like, this sand is great. Like, you don't get to enjoy any food.
So, I mean, you value the experience of eating very, very, very much. I mean, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and I'm saying that, I'm not sitting there trying to play the poor card, but I mean, I did grow up in a house with, on welfare in the projects, 5 kids, and food. I ain't gonna say it was always survival, but food was just survival. I mean, it wasn't always good. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to really notice how good some food is until my adult life, when I was able to go to restaurants and stuff like that. So I love the way, this food tastes, these great tastes at restaurants, but can I get by off of Spam and fucking the shitty bottom of the barrel? Yes, I can, because I have.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That stuff still has taste. Your taste is gone. You were eating it.
I'm eating to survive, though. I mean, like, even now, I'm living by myself, and the meals that my ex used to cook were excellent, superb, and here I am cooking my own food to survive, and it don't taste as good, but I'm getting by. I'm fine. I mean,
but it still had. Here's the thing, though. It still has a taste.
Some type of taste. But like I said, I've been without the taste with the COVID thing, and I did get through it. All I did was just, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's terrible when a steak tastes like meat swishing around in your mouth and it has no taste to it, but I can manage.
And this means, like, no drinks have any taste. Nothing.
Yeah, I would do that too. I mean, like, how much I like my beer. And it didn't taste like anything. It just tasted like liquid going down my throat. And it was terrible.
Well, I feel like that would just be such a miserable experience for me. It would be terrible. So
you better be definitely glad when you got the COVID that you did not experience that part of it.
Oh yeah,
You would
yeah.
have been fucking super infuriated.
Yeah. All right. So middle of the pack. Number 3, I'm going with smell. I don't give a shit that much. Like, as much as I love the taste of food, if I could never smell it, I'd be fine with it. Um, it's just one of those.
That's what you're not hitting though. Taste and smell are intertwined. A lot of your foods would not taste the same if you could not smell it, because it's like you don't
Right.
even notice it because you just think it tastes like XYZ. But when you can't smell, it changes the taste of it. It really does.
Yeah, and I understand that because there is. I will tell you this. So one of the things, whenever you were a smoker, you know that you're finally okay when you can actually taste the cigarette. You're like, fuck, Christ, good God,
Yeah.
what am I putting in my body?
Or like, have you? I'm pretty sure you had you've had a cigarette after you've got out of the swimming pool. Chlorine. It tastes different, right? I mean, it has like a distinct type of uh different type of. It's almost like more mentholy or something like that. I definitely noticed that cigarettes taste a lot different when you're coming out of.
I never noticed that, but now I'm going to notice it. So fucking thank
Yeah,
you for that.
it's something with the chlorine or something like that. Fire up a cigarette like right after you got done swimming or being in a chlorinated
Fuck
pool.
that.
It tastes.
I'm gonna light up in the pool. Shit.
Maybe if you was in the 80s, but not today.
That's fair. Shout out to the 80s.
I can't believe, like I said, some of them little shows or movies, and they would show something going down in the 80s. A motherfucker is at their desk,
smoking in church and shit,
smoking.
Like, praise Jesus.
You said clapping with a square in your hand, like
thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Different time. So yeah, I mean, look, if you because I get what you're saying.
How far down you pushing hearing? Like you sick of hearing people's madness, huh? He don't even want to fucking hear. Damn.
Nope. Fuck it. Well, let's go. Let's go to number 4. Number 4, hearing. So
hearing is number 4.
I really, really like quiet. I prefer it.
Me too.
I prefer it. If I could just shut everything else up around me, I'd be super happy. Generally speaking, like 80% of the time, I don't want to fucking hear what people are saying anyway.
Now, is this pre said job, or did the said job contribute to this thought process, or it just inherent?
It's being alive for 37 years. I'm like, I've heard everything. I'm all fucking set.
He said, "I'm all fucking set."
But you know, all in all seriousness, it has its detriments. So obviously, you're driving, hearing's important. You're walking around.
It's definitely safety. Definitely safety related.
Yeah. You can't listen to music ever again. That's a shitty situation. You can't watch anything and hear it. You need to have those closed captionings on.
Closed captionings, or you got to be a master lip reader. You know,
right?
And that's the enhanced skill. You know, I mean,
yeah.
How many people that can't hear that can damn near read lips from fucking a block away? They can read what you're saying and be like, wow, yeah.
I think the biggest reasons why it's that low on my list is because I value silence so much. So I could see myself living without sound. I'd be, I'd be okay. I feel like it has more benefits to me than detriments. All right, number 5 is touch. I don't give a shit. No, look, it is very, very, very important. And as somebody with diabetes and neuropathy, yeah, it is kind of a thing that you're kind of dealing with in a little bit of a way because you start to lose feeling and you have nerve damage.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on the touch thing.
I don't. First of all, let me explain my fucking thing before you step on my fucking toes. You had your chance to explain touch, cocksucker.
I just thought of something with touch that I didn't think of.
I know what you thought of, and I'm gonna go there. So,
okay.
Enjoy not getting pussy again. That's not gonna.
That's what I'm gonna say. You're just gonna be just hitting away and just nothing that you don't feel shit.
Right, like you're literally gonna have a physiological response to what you're doing, and it's like, skeet, skeet, skeet. I didn't feel nothing.
Oh shit!
I didn't feel nothing.
That's probably the most valuable part of fucking feeling, but nah, not really.
I mean, it's pretty fucking up there, but yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate because from a safety standpoint, I mean, there are those people like there is that disease out there that you can't feel pain, and these kids have to be shielded because they're just sitting there, just like they're picking at a scab or they're grabbing stuff. They can't feel anything. So I think the best way to really explain it, if you were able to shut down your nervous system, there you go. There's not having touch. You can't feel touch. You can't touch other stuff. It is probably the most unsafe thing not to have, honestly.
You just numb all the time. Like you could put your hand over a goddamn fire and your skin will be cooking and you can't feel anything. That's crazy.
And you get no affection. If you get a hug, you don't have that emotional kind of like that endorphin release, whatever. That doesn't happen. You don't get to feel anything nice or bad. I mean, that there is that part of it, but it's funny because I have more I have more reasons why it's terrible not to have than I have for any other one, but just the last on my list. But I think for me, I mean, you kind of are dealing with it to a degree already with neuropathy. But I don't know. I just, by comparison with the other ones,
what's that?
It's nerve damage. So it's basically kind of where you start to lose feeling or you get numbness or tingling, and it's pretty common with diabetics where they get it in their feet and their hands. That's why a lot of diabetics lose their feet, because they get infected. They don't realize it because they don't feel it.
They don't feel it.
Then it just,
they have to amputate it. It's like the blood is not getting all the way there, or you know, in the beginning signs is like the tingling in the extremities.
That's how I found out I had diabetes, because I was having little tingles. I'm like, dude, why am I getting these little jolts of lightning going when I'm trying to sleep?
Yeah.
And that's where I ended up finding that was like the gateway to finding out. So there's that. But I don't know. I feel like I could get by more without having that than the other ones. Even though hearing is more of a selfish one, because I'm just like, I just want fucking quiet all the time. That'd be super great. Love that. I will deal with the issues that come with not feeling anything, I will sacrifice that so I don't hear the dumb shit I have to hear on a regular basis. Yeah. So that was good, man. That was actually that was a real good topic, and I'm surprised because usually
I'm surprised we had I mean, I thought we might have had a difference of maybe one, but wow, I mean, it's a total difference.
Well, that's what I was
So we
hoping.
both agree that sight is
yeah.
I
Goddamn
mean,
right.
and that's why I said the story began like, damn, man. That, like I said, I was really gonna help that guy, man, because it was just like, damn.
And real quick, before anyone like says anything, either don't give this guy shit for not helping him. He was also not the only person down at Station Square. He literally had to go to work.
There were people across the street that was at the bus stop. All they had to do was say, "Hey, sir, you looking for the bus stop? It's right here." Nobody was saying nothing. It's like, damn.
Right. So no one better dare say anything in the fucking comments about XYZ. Just putting that out there because I will fucking block your ass. So there's that.
I mean, it's not my obligation, but at the same time,
no, it's not. But
like I really,
if he was right next to you, that'd be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to literally.
My thing was, I mean, I was gonna help, but at the same time, it was just like, why are you out here? Like, I just didn't understand.
He has to live his life too. I mean, because it could be a few different things. He could be a cantankerous old man that's like, I want to do this myself. I want to be independent. Or he could be new to the game, just trying to get his footing. Now, it's not really the best place to get your footing.
He could have knew where he was at, and I just assumed he didn't because, but the way he was moving around, it definitely didn't look like he could tell where he was at. Like, right. I think the thing that he finally realized he was there was because it was one of those, it wasn't just a regular bus stop. It was one of those bus stops with like the shelter, like the little. Yeah. And when he found that and he like touched all over it, then he could realize he was there, So.
Yeah. But yeah, not to say they need handlers, because that sounds really kind of disrespectful, but if you were in a city, in a big city,
you call it handlers, but he needs accompaniment. That's not demeaning or degrading him. I mean, you need a company, especially in a city.
In a city, if you're in suburbia, that's different.
Yeah, if he was in a town that he grew up in, or he knew, hey, I know in this town to get back to my house, they count steps. Like, okay, I go 2 steps, 10 steps to the left, 10 steps to the right. You know what I'm saying? Up, straight step. But this is a city. Like, I mean, like busy. Like, I'm like, how can he get across the street without getting hit?
Yeah. And with all those colleges and shit down there, that just seems like there's just way too many people for you to be able to like navigate. I don't care if you have the exact steps, you're literally trying to navigate the.
Well, those exact steps can change that in a city. Mm-hmm. It's like they could change something or
construction.
Yeah, or something could be closed and people are just ridiculously rude. I mean, I've seen plenty of times people get on the bus either, some type of impairment or, they have a cane and right now at the beginning of the bus, there's like kind of reserved seats for handicapped people. Right. And most people walk right past those seats and they sit somewhere else. Man, I've seen young kids just sitting in those seats and an older person get on or a cane or somebody that has or even a blind person. They don't even attempt to get up. They just like, they look at them like, I ain't giving you my.
It's because they don't have fucking home training.
It's just sad. People are
fucking home training.
Yeah, rude as fuck.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was a good topic. I liked that a lot. It was cool because not only did we learn something about each other, kind of got some more kind of insights on what's valued, what's lesser valued, and all that. So I like that. All right. Not really a topic we're going to talk about. It's going to be a real quick hitter. Then we're going to get into our draft. We're going to get the fuck out of here. All right. So, I hate my fucking job with a passion of a thousand suns. My job has degraded like the shit I have to fix. So that's a good little pun. That gives you an idea what the fuck I do for work. So over the years, I've seen my job degrade, and the I will put it this way: if you care more, you make your job considerably harder. Which is ironic because you would think if the more you care in a job, the better you would do, the more that would matter. No, 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 you stupid little fuck. That is not how that works. I'm not saying you don't need to care, but if you
There's
actually care about what you're doing, it does not benefit you.
no appreciation whatsoever. I mean, I was just having that conversation with myself leaving my job today where, I've took on certain different responsibilities and I'm appreciated for it. I've been, given, appreciation, but at said job that we used to work at, I don't care if I stayed 24 hours, did all this extra work, the look would be like, you were supposed to do that. Like
It's like, okay,
it was never enough. Like you never got valued for anything you fucking did. It was just like, damn. Okay.
Well, I don't even care about that stuff. Like the appreciation.
Like, yeah, pats on the back and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. That stuff is inconsequential to me. Actually, it's funny. One of the things that people do tell me all the time, they're like, "Hey, look, can I get your specific?"
Yeah, so give you a compliment and all that.
And I'm like, listen, I don't care about that. That stuff makes me feel weird. I'm not really into adoration. What I actually want you to do, and this is what I say to everybody that says that to me, and I mean it, go make somebody smile. I don't care about I don't care about a pat on the back. That means nothing to me.
I don't absolutely need it, but if I'm going above and beyond, you would have liked to be at least recognized that you did. So not treated
in years
you
past,
you didn't even like almost treated as if you didn't even do your job. Like, damn, okay.
Well, here's the thing. What you're remembering is how it used to be. You didn't get to experience what it's converted to and then what it's about to convert to in a few weeks.
What do you mean?
So not flexing here, but I garnered a reputation of being a big fish in a small pond there. Like people knew who I was, who I was, what I did, how I operated, all that. And I was very fucking good at what I did. Now, that pond became a lake. And there's a lot more people in that lake. And a lot less fucks to give in that lake. Now that lake is about to become a fucking ocean. And the attaboys, they don't matter. It's one of those things where if I felt it would benefit me in a way, I would care more, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It means nothing. And I will tell you, you were so lucky to get out when you did, because it is the most vanilla of the ice cream. Also, vanilla ice cream is fucking delicious. I can't even say that. I can't say chocolate ice cream because people are gonna think I'm racist and shit. It's fucking it's Neapolitan. No one likes that shit.
I do. I eat all the strawberry first.
God damn it! It's butter pecan. All right, there you go, you old fuck.
Butter pecan.
Shout out to my 70-year-olds. Yay. So, it's here's where I'm at with it, and this is where my frustration comes into play. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but I'm also like, suck my dick. I don't care. Here's where I'm at with it. It doesn't help if you care, because what you now need to do is utilize the people around you. And if they don't care, it is the most frustrating thing possible, because one of the things that's happened in this job is they have taken permissions away from the people that, one, knew how to use them and utilize them correctly, but they did that because Billy, Nancy, and Fred can't fucking count, and they had to take it away because they can't be trusted with anything that involves something that.
You said Billy, Nancy, and Fred, or do you mean Gurpreet, Manpreet, and
Yeah, this is very true. This is very true.
Duka. Oh no, what'd you call him? Darka?
I may have said Durka. I may have said Durka. Thank you, South Park, for making that a part of my linguistics. But yeah, it's become that, and I had a realization yesterday because I just kind of I snapped. I had like a mental break.
Dang. So you went
And
postal for like a quick second.
yeah, but you know what? It was one of those beautiful little epiphany things. Because I found myself, I'm just like, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want the dog to bother me. I don't want Tiff to bother me. I don't want the cats to bother me. Fuck the kids. I never want them to bother me. But still, like, it's I just and it's like I don't want to do this. And Tiff said she was like, look, you just you're having more bad days than good days. I'm like, yeah, fucking right.
I mean, you can ask my ex, you can ask my kids. I mean, it started affecting my home life. I would come to the house and I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to.
Right.
Like, as soon as I come in the door, guess what happened to them? And I'm like, hey man, I don't want to hear none of that shit. Like it was like
fuck you, Junior, leave me alone.
Chappelle reference. I was like, man, fuck you, son. When he was like, Nick Cannon's hilarious. He's like, man, fuck you, son. I mean, like, it had got to a point where
reference there. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, it had got to a point where I mean, it was definitely affecting my home life, man. It was just like I didn't want to be bothered, and then definitely, like I said, we would be at some type of family function, and somebody would start talking about said company, and I'm like, hey, man, don't fucking come to me about nothing. Call that number in there
Right.
because I'm not discussing shit with you. Like,
well, I've come to the realization that 7 years is long enough, and there's no way to go any higher than I am without completely
the management.
sacrificing my integrity. And I used to say, "Oh, I get to, good. I get a lot of time off," and I'm like, "There's probably a reason behind that they need to offer you that much time off because, So, here's my long story short. I'm going to be doing a new job. I'm going to start a new job. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. But what I do want to do, I want to focus a lot more on this and do more to build this and do more to create a better, bigger thing that reaches more people and all that other fun stuff. But I just
it just got so like you said, it digressed so bad. Like my first 5 to 10 years there, and I think I've said this plenty of times. I had to burn through time at the end of the year because I had never used it. I loved my job. I was always there. That last 5 years, basically was calling off once a month as a supervisor. Like I couldn't take it. I just like I said, it's been times I've been in the shower and almost have an anxiety attack, like start breathing hard, like because I knew I had to go in. Like, oh my god, I can't take this shit.
listen. So you know how we get our time, and my anniversary is in March. All my time was gone by May.
Immediately, like it was terrible. It had become terrible.
Yeah. So
And then, like I said, when I finally, it was the whole, here's a severance. It was a mutual feeling. It was like, thank you, because I couldn't have last no more than 3 or 4 more months, and I was gonna catch me doing something and end up firing me. So good thing you let me go and gave me a severance. That way I could live off of that for 6 months. So that was way better than just getting plain flat out fired. Because I was on my way. On my way.
And that's where I'm at too. I'm at the point where I'm going to leave on my terms, and I'm not going to give you cunts a chance to fucking get rid of me. So I'm not in any danger of that, but I'm also at the point where I'm like, look, I am 37 years old, working really, essentially at this point, what's become a remedial job, which it wasn't before. Like, you could actually have a skill set and it could be utilized. Now it's not. You are literally not able to speak English,
Drone,
doing the same job you're doing. So,
fucking drone.
So, yeah. Anyway, just a little heads up on, for why that's important to this. One, it was cathartic. So thank you. Two, I want people to know, and I am getting some more.
That'll be $1,200 therapy.
Yeah. All right. You can definitely take it out of our OnlyFans account. So yeah, it's cathartic, but also I want people to know, yeah, I mean, there is some more equipment coming in for me, so I'll be able to do a lot more with this. I'm just going to put a lot more effort and a lot more work into this, and I would say, I mean, for example, I didn't even release the football episode yet. I uploaded it. I just didn't fucking do anything with it because I don't know, but I'm realizing
I was cussing you out too much on that one. I was snapping. After that shit was over, I was like, damn, I was on there snapping. I mean, because that's the passion involved with the Steelers, man. Like, you pieces of shit. Like, I mean, damn.
But I'm realizing it is affecting me all around, and I just can't. And I know people are gonna go, don't you work at home? Yeah, I do. Oh, I mean, how can you complain about that? Because I'm 37 years old and what I'm doing is not fulfilling at all.
So what? Working from home is just supposed to swoop away all the problems? Like, what?
You'd be surprised, man. Some people are real shallow and not really level-headed with that. They think that that's the dream, and for all intents and purposes, it is very, very nice, but the bloom is off that rose.
I mean, it's convenient, but it just doesn't take away the work itself. I mean,
no, because I work 10-hour shifts, so I'm there from 8 to 6:30, and I'm just like, yeah, someone's gonna fucking die today. Well, today is the day, and I just can't. So, long story short, I'm making some changes, and I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be beneficial for everyone involved. All right, let's get to the draft. No more boo-hooing. All right. So we did the monsters on the last one. Would have loved if this would have kind of matched up a little bit better on the days. We could do it on Halloween, but it didn't end up working that way because calendars. So whatevs. We're gonna do first of all, how many are we doing? How many rounds? Just 4? Like we usually do? Okay. Yeah. So we're going to do I don't know if you want to call it the scariest or the best horror movies, whatever verbiage you want to use. It's going to be
I got some surprising picks. I mean, it's not quote unquote horror, but
that's what I was looking for.
It's horrific, but it's not
really that's horror. What I was looking for. I was hoping you weren't going to be like Friday the 13th, number 84. Jason takes St. Louis. It's like, okay, I don't fucking. So, who went first last time? Did you lead off or did I?
I think you led off because you led in with Michael Myers.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. All right, fair enough. Okay. All right. So, here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to ask you. Are these ranked in your head?
No.
You're just spouting them off. Okay. All
right. Last time we did monsters. One movie that's, this is a horror movie that I'm starting off with, but it's no particular monster that you can,
right,
reference. Dawn of the Dead, just the zombie apocalypse whole situation where you're one of the few remaining survivors in this atmosphere, and if you get bit, you could turn into for whatever reason, so on and so forth. So I want to say Dawn of the Dead. I don't know the most recent one, and I want to say I don't know when it came out.
I was gonna say, are you going Romero's or are you doing like
no, not Romero's. Is like, I mean, it was good, but and it set the premise. I'm talking about the most recent one. I don't know when it was, but the one with Ving Rhames in it, and
like the 2000s. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
at the
that
mall
one.
and shit.
Yeah,
okay. Gotcha.
Just the zombie whole concept, like of being stuck there, and one of the major lines that I remember in that movie that people probably overlooked because it was right in the beginning.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, how would zombies ever, appear, or if you're religious, so to speak, like you're saying to yourself, like, how could the dead walk the earth? And then one dude on one of the clips, they was explaining how the zombies came, and the one dude was like, when there is no more room left in hell, the dead will walk the earth. That stuck with me like, damn. So if it was from a religious
standpoint, are you a believer in that stuff? Are you one of those people that believe that actually could be a thing?
The zombie thing, not necessarily, but I do believe in heaven and hell. So I do believe in the religious aspect, but that was just a funny little quip of how religiously they popped up, because hell is filled up with so many people that dead people walking the earth now. So that was a funny little quip in there, but yeah, man. I mean, those movies I enjoy, the zombie movies, and they can get scary. 28 Days Later, all of those.
Look, I like that. I like 28 Days Later. That was a fun little spin on it, because you think of a zombie, it's just this. These things are like, we have rage.
These motherfuckers was fast as shit. Yeah,
right.
That's why I like the Dawn of the Dead, is because they wasn't the slow motherfuckers that you could hack up and they could barely move. No, these motherfuckers was flying after you. Like, they were very agile. Yeah.
They were gym tested. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to go with Roots. No, I'm just playing. I'm sorry. That was mean.
Funny enough. Wait till I get to my next one.
Listen, I remember I had to watch. So I initially went to school in Duquesne. If anybody knows about Duquesne, there wasn't a lot of me there. And in middle school, we had to watch Roots. I'm like, cool. This is super comfortable. Yeah, this is great. So joking aside, I may actually have to add that to the list, because depending on where you're at in life, shit, that is a fucking scary situation.
That's like sitting there and you in a room full of ants somehow, and on TV you just see a human foot just keep stamping out ants, and you got to sit there and watch it, like, look at the other ants like, my people did it. Yep. He said, this is really comfortable.
That's great. Love it. No, so I'm gonna go with probably one of the OG movies. I'm going with The Exorcist. It's not over the top. Well, maybe some of the stuff. It was
something like that can really happen. Like, that's not
right. That's why
CGI, to me, a possession is definitely. I mean, like, today's world, the newer possessions is called these conjurings. If you don't watch movies, but that's what they're doing. They're just redoing these possessions of people.
Right.
And so it's like kind of like the modern day. Well, the modern day Exorcist is the newest Exorcist, but the original one, the 70s and all that. I mean, I'm a full believer that someone can be possessed.
I mean, it was one of those movies that there's not like these jump scares. It's not like this. It's literally a girl on a bed speaking in tongues and speaking in these different dialects, saying some fucking terrible things. And you're just like, the subtlety of this, and just like the less is more is brilliant, because it's just like, like you have this little girl that's being possessed saying your mother sucks cocks in hell. Your mother sucks cocks in hell. Like, yeah. What the fuck? Like, mm-hmm. Like it's just like, and you just have this little girl just screaming, "Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me!" I'm like, oh god, no, that's
these are not terms that the little girl just happened to be running with the wrong crew and she can say all these things.
Right.
There's clearly something in her saying this stuff.
Right. And that just, yeah. And I mean, I will say the special effects were definitely before their time. Oh. Like, just what they did to her, ooh, to fucking nightmare fuel a little bit. So, yeah, that's, I mean, it definitely, I feel like it's low hanging fruit, but yeah, definitely on the list. So, all right, go ahead.
Well, like I told you, my next one is very unorthodox, and it's not considered a horror, but it's a horror to me.
Job application. I'm sorry.
That's a part of it. No.
You're fucking stupid.
I'm dead. Movies centered around young black male statistics. Okay. And let me explain that to you. And this is what, and I'm not going to say it's just black males, but primarily, or the majority, over the overwhelming majority, is these are young black male statistics. Any movie, your Boys in the Hoods, your Menace to Society, any movie where a young black male can lose his life over dumb shit, over a scuffle, a bump into, the black male statistic is pretty much you're either going to be dead, in prison, or strung out on drugs. So any movie related to that.
Interesting.
Not so much now because I'm an old fuck and I've learned, but from the ages of maybe 15 to 25, every young black male is dodging from being a statistic. And right now, my son is in
literal and figurative bullets. Like, that's...
Yeah, my son is in this era. But my son is a little bit more level-headed. But at any of those movies, like I said, the Menaces to Society, those movies where you can get killed over something stupid, as simple as stepping on somebody's shoes, or somebody don't like you, or you beat them up and they come back shooting. Prison movies. Just the fact that you're in captivity, you're in prison, someone tells you when and where to eat and turn on the lights. And on top of that, the horrific fear of a man raping you against your will, like that is a horrific condition. And then strung out on drugs, people that is on heroin, that is a form of slavery in itself, where your mind is enslaved. And I'll add on I'll even add on, not even young black male, just any type of movie that's geared towards slavery and being in captivity, where me and my brother, we had this conversation plenty of times, where I thank the Lord that I was born in the era that I'm born in and not back in the slavery times, because I wouldn't have made it. I don't think I would have been able to allow that shit to happen. I would be a dead slave. I mean, to have to go through that, any of those situations is fucking horror to me. So that covers a lot of movies.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like that's a super fair. I mean, that's. Hmm.
And like I said, it don't have to be just not making it racial. Yeah, I'm just telling you the statistics show
Nah,
that
it is
the
what it is.
majority.
No. First of all, don't like qualify it in a certain way. It is what it is. Like there, that literally was a grouping of movies that was like, hey, it was almost a guideline of what not to fucking do.
Or
But
just telling you an example of here's what happened,
mhm,
and this is happening all across the country. Try not to be grouped into this group. Try not to fall in this
right,
group. And given the circumstances of a lot of people in the ghettos that live there, it's very hard to dodge it.
yep.
It really
Hmm.
is.
All right. Well, pun intended. Thanks for taking another dark turn. Uh,
He said, pun intended, dark turn. Darky? Hey, man, I'm just giving it.
so
I told you, like, it's not a
that's a good
Halloween
pick.
themed horror
No,
movie. That
no.
is
But
a
what did I
horror
tell you?
story.
What did I tell you? I wanted to do thriller type of things, like mental mindfuck ones, and that is the literal definition of a mindfuck. So yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I'm not gonna pick as good of a pick as that one because that pretty much is like a draft winner. But yeah, I'm gonna go.
I should have saved that for last, but I couldn't contain. I
Nah,
couldn't
it's fine.
hold that in until the last pick.
Well, I mean, I made the whole like tongue in cheek, roots, thing. That's like,
Slavery.
well, there's a yeah. I was like, well, there's a fucking segue
That's a
accidentally.
horrific condition.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hostile.
Oh shit! I forgot all about those Hostel movies, yo.
So
Damn.
it's not, but I mean, it was insanely gory and gruesome, and generally speaking, the plot's pretty poor. But
There's no
once you
specific
step back and think,
monster or anything, but
well, it's people,
it's you and your
people,
sick, twisted
right,
fetish or something. Yeah.
right. People are hunting you to torture you, and it's a sport. And I think why it's such a scary premise, that is so not even far off from something that can happen with relative ease. And it doesn't have to be a European country. Like it just obviously like cutting the guy's Achilles, like letting him go but cutting his Achilles tendons.
Oh,
Like that's just like
I know they
oh
snipped
that's
the back of the. Oh my God! Just thinking about how the pain on
right.
that. Whoa!
And I
That
mean, I'm
made
not
me
even thinking about the
shake.
pain. I'm thinking about just I'm just thinking about the mental part of it. It's like, okay, oh my God, you're finally gonna let me free, but you can't go anywhere now. It's just like,
That's that soft shit,
oh,
man. I'm telling you, a brain fuck where it's like
mm-hmm.
you can get out of this if you want, but you're gonna go through some hell to do it. Wow, yo,
So
that's
just I guess just the idea of somebody hunting you to and knowing that they can do that with ease and they're just toying with you. Like that's just that's the mortifying movie. I mean, the second
I
and
mean,
I think
wouldn't
it
the
was like
groundwork for that one be that Goodwill Hunting movie? Well, not Goodwill Hunting. Was that it?
I never saw that, but that has like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in
No,
it
not
and
that
Robin
one.
Williams. I
No,
was gonna
what was
say
that? I don't know what that was called. It was some movie where I remember it had that dude Charles Dutton or some shit. The dude that played that Rock, the dude who rocking. I just remember these guys capturing like a prisoner, and then they all met up in a cabin, and they like let this prisoner out into the woods, and they for sport went out and hunted them like in the woods, and the dude ended up killing them all or whatever, but because he was I guess had military training and was skilled, but they didn't know that, but they just they would. I guess they would gather as a vacation.
Is that the Deer Hunter?
No,
am I wrong on that?
I can't remember what it's called, yo. I thought it was Good Will Hunting, but it's something that was like in 80s. I want to say late 80s, maybe early 90s, and it was pretty much that. It's like hunting people. Like these guys would come together in the cabin and they get their shotguns together and all their little.
I know what you're talking about too. I can't think of the name of it.
I don't remember what it's called. Oh man.
Well, anyway,
yeah.
It just the movie wasn't amazing, but the residuals.
The second one was what, kind of crazy, wasn't it?
I don't know. I mean, they eventually just got like, hey, let's be more gory. It's like,
yeah, that's what happens. They go overboard. Like a lot of times, very rarely is the second movie better than the first. I mean, there are some second and third movies that are better than the original, but a lot of times they
super rare.
Yeah,
like the most you can hope for is it being on the same level, and that rarely ever happens either. So it's like they usually just
they go over the top. They just do some dumb shit to go over the top.
Yeah, but yeah, that's number 2. All right, go ahead. Number 3.
Number 3 for me. Those Final Destination movies, man. I mean,
okay.
They're brain fucks too. I mean, imagine, you with a group of friends and one of your friends like kind of days off into a daydream and then they come back and be like, I just had a premonition that we all died and shit. And then slowly but surely, each one of y'all start dying in the same order that they seen you know what I'm saying, dying. And just sitting around waiting on that is a brain fuck in itself. Like, damn. And like, there was some pretty gory type of effects and graphics, and I think they made like 5 or 6 of them and shit. One of them was like crazy, where they like somehow the seatbelt off of an amusement park ride came off, and they started flying out the seats. I was like, God damn! Like, so those movies just period. I mean, and that's almost like that goes along the lines of when we talked about The Ring. I mean, you've seen The Ring where they watched the tape and then they got 7 days to live or whatever. Just waiting around that 7 days is a mind fuck. Like, damn, is this really gonna happen?
Right.
And like, you just counting your time down. And the same thing with the Final Destination. It's like, oh, you saw a premonition. Who's gonna die next? And you're walking around on eggshells, thinking like anything you do can kill you. That's a mind fuck. It is.
All right. Well, number 3, and you said it already, but you didn't choose it. I'm going Saw.
Mind fuck.
Literally a guy with a vendetta that picks and chooses who he wants to have experience. Hey, here's your options. You can either go through this trial and tribulation to free yourself, or you can die. And I'm like, oh, cool.
And the reason why he do it to you is like some crazy. It's almost like if he caught you snitching, he would do some shit where you got to cut your lips off or some shit that's related to.
Well, it's an eye for an eye.
Literally.
So now I think they're on like Saw 29 now. So it's
crazy.
Once again, the same idea. Beating the shit out of that dead horse. I mean, they've now have like this crazy timeline, and everything is like not canon, and people are alive that were dead, but they're alive, and spaghetti.
That's the stories. that's the stories that come out every day. I remember my ex used to watch the stories, and I'm like, and she used to watch like 2 or 3 of them, and I'm like, and I would always hear Victor. I'm like, is it me or every story's got a Victor in it and shit, and he's a fucking. But the stories, it would be the same thing. Oh, it's him. He died 2 years ago. I'm like, why would you keep watching something where they keep resurrecting these motherfuckers? And it's supposed to be reality. Like, what? Like,
yeah. So it became after like 3 or 4. It became no one really cares about the story that much. It's like, what kind of fucked up contraption is gonna be there? Let's see like the 6 new contraptions. It's like playing a video game. It's like the DLC's coming out. It's like I don't really care. I don't really care about the gameplay. I just want to know who's going to be there. It's kind of what you're
after
doing with
like
Saw
maybe the
movies.
second or the third one, like you said, I didn't care about the story at all. I was looking for what is the next puzzle that this motherfucker got to get through, or the contraction that's attached. And it was just like, okay. Yeah. Like one was like, this one lady, she had like a collar around her neck, and little like shotgun bullets was wrapped around the collar. And if she didn't do whatever she had to do, can you imagine getting shot by like 8 or 9 shotgun bullets straight to your dome? Like, that's just.
I cannot, sir.
Can you imagine what it would look like? It would be nothing there, of course, but
yeah, I was gonna say like I
mean, even on that first one, when the dude was running through the basement and he had like a tripwire and there were a bunch of shotguns that were at the top of the thing, and he hit the tripwire and all the shotguns shot down on him. I'm like, oh man. They couldn't even show. They just showed his leg like fall over, like he's gone. Yeah, that is Saw is an eternal mind fuck.
Yeah. All right, last one. What do you got?
I'm not gonna say it's like real horrific, but I enjoyed them. 80s, 90s creep shows. I don't know if you remember the Creep Show 1 and 2. You don't remember Creep Show? Oh,
I'm aware. No, so I'm aware of its existence. I just never saw it.
Oh man, yeah, Creep Show. There was some good. Like it was like one of those movies where it wasn't all the same story. It would be a movie broken up into like 3 separate little stories. Like Creep Show 1 and 2 was like 3 little scenarios, and they would play one. Each one was probably like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like that. And movies back in the day was like an hour and a half. So each one was like segmented into like 30-minute small little shows. And yeah, there was one that was just like roaches. And the guy, he was, his little lab was roach infested, but he was killing them every which way he could. And then at the end, they just showed like all the roaches start coming out of his body. Like they had got inside of him and consumed him. Like, and they were breaking out of his body. That was just like a horrific story. And then on part 2, the most memorable story was this one lady made a mistake, and she, it was a hit and run. Like she hit it was like a high suburbia, like upper class white lady driving the Benz, and it was a homeless black man walking across the street, and she hit him. And instead of like reporting it or anything, she looked and was just like, she looked around and was like, it's better to just drive off. It was a homeless man. She didn't give a fuck. So she drove off. And for the rest of that little show, his corpse kept haunting her. Like everywhere she turned, he was there. And his famous words was, thanks for the ride, lady. Like he would keep coming at her, thanks for the ride, lady. And she went crazy. These were great. Watch Creep Show and Creep Show 2. If you ever, whoever's watching, these are classics, horror movie classics.
I'm looking forward to seeing your facial expression when I tell you my last pick.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Human Centipede.
Oh, I've never seen it. I heard about it, but just the concept. Oh man, I'm about to gag just thinking about it. Oh man, the only person that left out in that whole thing was the front of the centipede, because you ain't got to do nothing but take
except you. Well, yeah, but you also have to realize you are doing that to somebody.
But I'm saying you're not experiencing what the people behind you is experiencing. Fuck. God
but
damn.
Once again,
you know how bad I feel about fucking feces. God damn. Yo, that is a fucking horror story for real.
Once again, but that's why I wouldn't say I enjoy it, but that's why it's on my list. It is a very real possibility that something like that can happen, especially with modern medicine. You mean to tell me
The only way that you can make that even completely is to put them in like a circle.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have the top of the centipede and then the back of the centipede, and then everybody is holy
Right.
fuck.
Which, once again, if you can do it to one person, you can do it to 5. Just you're attaching, like all you're doing is attaching their. All right, you're putting their intake, valve to somebody's
Outtake.
outtake valve and continuing the link and the root and the loop, and it is a
Oh,
self-sustaining. It is a self-sustaining.
oh,
Yeah.
whew. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh. Eating human
And
shit.
I can't imagine it's that difficult of a thing to do either. I mean, you're not going to survive very long, but
No, because
imagine your
feces is
existence.
pretty much toxic waste. So
Mm-hmm.
that gets inside your body, it will kill you. It will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But just imagine that existence and how long and how torturous that would be. And then
Whoever did it
even
to me, I
worse.
was like, please put a bullet in my head. Like I would beg for my death. Please kill me. Please.
Well, depending on where you're at on the link, you may not be able to say too much.
Absolutely. But if I was on that part of the link, I'd be like, please, kill me,
But
please.
yeah, just a terrible premise of a movie, and it's just like
I never saw it though. I heard about it plenty of times at said job, and I was like, when somebody finally explained it to me, I was like,
there's 3 of them.
holy shit. Literally.
Well, they didn't really need to. That's the thing. They didn't really have to explain too much. I mean, the premise is right in the fucking title. But yeah, you don't really think of that. You're like, what does that mean? It's like exactly what the fuck it sounds like.
Oh my god.
And do yourself a favor, watch it. Don't watch it. Or watch it, whatever. I mean, if you're easily grossed out, it's not for you.
I'm not easily grossed out. It's just when it comes to, I mean, I shit a lot, but I don't want nothing to do with it.
Like
I don't want to be around it. I don't want it to be on me. I mean, it's like it's
the irony.
Only.
The irony is fucking heavy. I can feel the irony. Like the irony of that statement. I don't have words for it. Holy Christ. No. I mean, it's just it just a terrible. And if you notice, all of my movies have been, can't say very realistic possibilities of it happening, but it's not like you have Jason. It's like, oh well, this undead creature that was supposed to drown now has been killing for eons and he's indestructible. No, it's like, hey, here's a German guy. He wanted to fucking put a few of you people together, and you poop into that person's mouth, and then they poop in the other person's mouth, and see how long you guys can fucking live. And I'm gonna do some testing and shit, and that's what we're gonna do.
Ain't none of my picks real except for the blackmail one, which there's no movie that can capture all of that because it still continues today and it's ongoing. Any black male from 15 to 25 is going through that horror period.
That's called fucking World Star. It's like ha 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 ha, but also not ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
But yeah. I like that we went the directions we went. I'm glad it wasn't any like corny, kind of like, oh well, Hellraiser. It's like, shut up, stupid.
Yeah. I mean, Hellraiser is probably my personal amusement, but me sitting in here on a podium trying to defend it, I don't think I would make a good point. I don't think nobody would make a good point.
That's like this. That's like the smart guy. Like that was like the smart guy slasher. It's like it's like the only like 80s and 90s slasher that went to fucking like that got like a degree.
Harvard and shit.
Right. Like he actually has like a college degree. He has like he's accredited and shit.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
How does it? All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So once again, $1.50. I will actually upload this tomorrow. You'll actually have 2 episodes, this and the football one. So that's it for today. We will see you on Saturday for.
Oh, I might have to change that to Friday. My brother is coming in town, so I might change that to Friday. I'll let you know for sure.
Okay.
Or if we do a Saturday, it'll be probably like Saturday, like around like 7 or 8, like way earlier before I go out or something like that.
Honestly, that's preferred for me. So yeah.
But I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, he is coming in town.
Good deal. All right, man. So we will see y'all on Saturday or Friday. Yeah, that's about it. Enjoy spooky season and the 30-degree weather and all the snow. I don't know what to say. Goodbye. No, well, Tennessee will do that for us. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Yep.
X's and O's.
Woo.